Guess we have another 2 minutes to go live. All right, guys, who are joining us, I think we'll have quite a few more people as we keep moving on. I'll start at 4:05 in next 4 minutes, and then I've received quite a few questions from on email and messages. So we'll start with those, and then we can start taking questions from the live audience as we keep moving forward. So we'll start at 4:05. All right, so let's get started. Okay, I'll begin with my introduction. I'm Meraj Faheem. I founded the Hacking School. It's a coding bootcamp that I started back in September of 2013. Back when we started, we were India's first and only coding bootcamp. What we offer or what we do and what we are great at is you know giving 13 weeks of intensive classroom program on product development. So basically people who join us develop this capacity and capabilities to convert any ideas into products, and eventually these products go on to become businesses and so on. So this is what we do at the Hacking School. We have been doing this for last for about 5 years now, and we have come a long way. Uh, our flagship program is our coding bootcamp, but then we have also done a lot of in-campus bootcamps for a lot of institutions, academic institutions, be it engineering colleges, be it schools, be it other institutes. And then we have done a lot of in-campus boot camps for corporate companies where we train or upskill their new hires, or we upskill their current hires who are working on a very specific or a special project requiring a special skill set. That's what we have been doing. So I will start answering the questions that I received on the email first, and then we can go on with the live questions. So the question is, do you need to be well versed with computer programs to undertake the basic course? The answer is no. You do not have to be well versed with any of the computer program, or no, you have to know or bring in any sort of background or experience, of programming or coding whatsoever. So the idea here is, we take you right from the scratch, which means, there is no unlearning that you have to do, and no unlearning that we have to make you do. So that's the ideal scenario. So we do not expect you to bring in any sort of background experience or, anything. You don't have to be well versed with computer programs to take this course. We will start from the basics. It might help if you have some sort of understanding or background of computer programming and coding, but that is not required. That is not at all required. So that's answer. And the next question is, would there be any hardware requirements associated with this course that the child is expected to bring along? Yes, a decent computer is good enough. A decent computer with a processor, an i5 processor is sufficient. If you have an 8 GB RAM, that's great, but then 4 GBs also work very fine. You do a lot of computing jobs, so the faster computer, the better it is. But then that should not necessarily stop you from, picking this on. There are always a lot of hacks around that you can work with. How much time during the day or week would my child have to carve out for successfully completing each course? So this depends on the program that we're talking about. We do have beginner level programs, and then we have full-fledged, full-stretched, full-stack product development programs. So ideally, what we expect is 20 hours a week kind of a division. It could be either on the weekends, or we can divide it over the weekdays, few hours per day kind of a thing. And depending on how many hours you can give in per day, the course is actually stretched. So we want to custom design this program, working with your school, working directly with the school, keeping in mind your already academic requirements that the child has to fulfill. So we will make sure, we are not overburdening the kid. We want him to enjoy this as much as, he can, as much as he should, because more importantly, at the end of the day, he will have to understand why he's doing it. He has to do it for the right reasons, and that's the idea. So we'll make sure he's comfortable. We'll make sure the program will be planned and stretched out throughout. It could be a little every day, or it could be on the weekends, or whatever the school and we can come up with. Um, what are the prerequisites for each of the courses being offered? So, like I said, there is no prerequisite for the beginner level program. We do not want you to come and we do not require you to bring in any sort of programming experience. However, if you're opting for a blockchain program, we do have a prerequisite. You will have to know the basics of JavaScript, and we expect you to know. We expect you to be good with JavaScript. And if you have already worked on Node.js, Express.js quite a bit, that should be good. And that's all what we need if you're opting for the blockchain program. But then if you go for the full stack product development or the beginner level program, you do not have to worry about any prerequisites. The only prerequisite comes in picture if you are opting for the blockchain program. Can you? Okay, this is an important one. How is the course going to help students in the future? All right, so let's talk about present. Let's not talk about future. Currently, the industry is going through a huge paradigm shift. The kind of shift we are talking about right now is so big that you might be hearing a lot about automation. You might be hearing a lot about the change in the way people are looking at the creating technologies and consuming technologies. So I would say the future has, arrived. We are not waiting for the future anymore. We are in the future right now. People are thinking about creating technologies more than consuming technologies. You will find ideas everywhere. I'm very sure your kids might have come to you, with a lot of crazy ideas, a lot of interesting ideas that you might have thought, yes, it might be a great opportunity. It might have, good innovation angle to it. It might have a great, entrepreneurial angle to it. So this is the future. We are living in the future. This is the need of the hour. We cannot be just the consumers of technology anymore. We are talking about creating technologies. We are talking about solving problems that can help billions of people. And along the way, you will end up, creating enterprises that people will love. So this course will lay the foundation for that thought process. We will encourage the child to start thinking in those direction. We are talking about encouraging the children to start thinking about solving problems, looking for opportunities around them, looking for innovations around them. We are talking about making them innovators. That's what we are going to talk about. And this program lays the foundation for a very innovative, a very forward-looking problem-solving kid. That's what it is about. Why should a child take this course at a young age whilst in only grade 6? Very good question. The youngest kid to join our coding bootcamp was just 11 years old. And honestly, this kid was already great in half of the technologies that we were already offering. So it was great fun working with him. And working with him, what we have realized is, coding is as important as knowing English. And as we keep moving forward, you will have to know how to operate or control your devices, not just operate your devices, but also control your devices, which means you will be writing lines of codes to literally operate devices. And as we keep moving forward, as years pass by, we will have more and more machines around us than human beings. It's scary, but that's a fact. And for us to actually be prepared for that fact, we have to start learning these things as soon as possible. If we just rewind ourselves, 5 to 10 years ago, you might have seen, a lot of people still opting for regional languages schools, which is not the case anymore. People are, very adamant of the fact that their kids learn English. It's important for them to learn English right from day one, right? They're opting for, schools where the language of instruction is English. Same is the case with coding. people will start very soon realizing the fact that their kids have to know how to code right from day one, which means coding will more become like your English, coding will more become like your math. So the sooner they start, the better. So we are not just talking about grade six, but in fact, as we keep moving forward, this age barrier will in fact keep closing. We will keep moving lower and lower in terms of age. So yeah, can you shed some light on the affiliation of the course and its relevance in India and outside? Very good and a very important question. Affiliation. So the Hacking School is a private coding bootcamp, which means we are not affiliated to AICTE, All India Council of Technology Education. Neither are we associated with any university or anything like that. I want to clear that fact. However, our industry affiliations are really, really close, which means the programs that we come up with, the curriculum that we develop, the program that has evolved over the last period of 5 years. We built this program by working very, very closely with the industry, which means the CTOs, the senior software engineers, program managers, product managers, and people like those helped us design our curriculum, and we are closely working with them to bring or create products or curriculum that people actually love. So while we do not have any direct government affiliations as such, we are closely associated. We are very closely work with the industry. Relevance in India and outside. Let me tell this: we are very, very relevant, and in fact, we evolve much faster than the industry itself. So back when we started in 2013, the tech stack that we used to offer was Mean Stack, which is JavaScript full stack with Angular in the front end, and then we quickly moved on to React, using React in the front end, because that's where the industry was evolving, and we picked it up even before a lot of people had realized React would become the industry standard for front end. While Angular still has good considerable amount of market share in terms of front end, React is quickly gaining pace. And since the last 4 bootcamps, we have also added Python. So ours is a pretty rounded program. So we cover Python for data structures and algorithms. We use Python extensively for problem solving, and then we use JavaScript for the web development part of the program, which is you use React.js for the front end, then you use Node.js and Express.js to build backends, and we use MongoDB as a database. So this is what we work on. Having said that, like I mentioned previously, we work very closely with the industry, which means that helps us keep pace with the industry's rapid evolution in picking up new technologies and all of that stuff. Now, you might be wondering, I have not used the word machine learning, artificial intelligence, IoT, and all of that. I have consciously chosen not to use those words, because what we have to understand and realize is artificial intelligence, machine learning, IoT, and natural language processing, and all of these advanced programs require you to have a very strong foundation with web development, with your problem solving. So if you're not good with building the basic product to begin with, if you're not good with problem solving, if you're not good with your Python and JavaScript to begin with, uh, let me tell this to you: you cannot pick up artificial intelligence or machine learning, right? So you will have to start working on these aspects before even you start talking about artificial intelligence and machine learning. And we have to be very careful about that fact. If you're not doing the right things at the right time, we might eventually end up missing the bus. So that's the relevance part of the question. And outside the country, oh yes, let me share this with you. lot of so 30% of our cohort is international, which means people fly from different parts of the world to be part of our coding bootcamps. And when I say we closely work with the industry, it's not just the Indian technology industry. We are also constantly in touch. We constantly take feedback and talk to the industry across the world. We have a coding bootcamp in the Middle East, and then we are partners with one of the largest education companies in Australia that helps us, constantly making sure that our program is on the top of it, and we are giving what the industry wants. Um, is there an option to pay the fee in installments? Yes, the fee is different for different programs, and you can pay the fee in 2 installments. We have that facility. What sort of job avenues will open up for a child if they go for the basic course? Okay, let's talk about jobs. While our program is totally designed to create job creators and not job seekers, definitely this will help us people, or kids who are picking up the basic course. They will be able to build basic JavaScript applications, which means they can build anything that has got CRUD involved with it, right? So they can create basic applications. They will be able to create basic they will be able to do the basic operations. And let's not talk about job avenues for kids right now. It's very early. What I'm believing is these kids will start they will continue to add on top of the skill set that they have picked up from the basic course. So that's what it will help them with. But then more importantly, I'm 100% sure a lot of startups are out there wanting to work with people with the skill sets that our basic course is going to offer. So these kids can definitely pick up those internships, become or go through the apprenticeship, and they can work with that. So that opportunity is always there. Uh, okay. Okay, so it's relevance. All right, so I've kind of answered this question for a previous for a previous question, but then let me repeat it. We are currently sitting at Industrial Revolution 4.0, right? So what that technically means is industrial revolution, or industry 4.0 is the name given to the trend that you might have been hearing about, trend of automation, data exchange in manufacturing or creating technologies, right? It includes cyber physical systems, Internet of Things, IoT, cloud computing, cognitive computing, and all of that, right? So we might be hearing how automation is eating up a lot of jobs and all of that, right? So if you're not the guy who's automating things, your job will be gone. Your job will be taken away by another machine or another guy who can automate the machine, right? So this is what we're talking about. We have to prepare the kids for this industrial revolution 4.0. And if we do not do that, trust me, we will be outdated. This is not just the future, but the future is now. So let's focus on giving kids, or making them interested in how to solve problems to begin with, and then they can pick up stuff whatever they want to pick up. So I will wait for another 5 minutes for a few and take a few more questions. And if we don't have any, then we will wrap up. I guess there are no more questions, so I will end this up here. Thank you so much, guys, for sending me those questions, and please feel free to reach out to me in case you have any more questions. You can visit our website on thehackingschool.com, and you can email me anytime on Miraj at thehackingschool.com, MERAJ at thehackingschool.com. Look forward to seeing you guys at the bootcamp. Cheers.